Welcome to the Investing Podcast presented by Tusk Media. This is Outsider Trading, an audio and video deep dive into the people, places, and things that we find most interesting in the market.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Investing Podcast presented by Tusk Media. Andrew Hall here, the unit, Matt Krebsbach.
What's up? Haven't been on here in a while.
No, it's been a minute. This is like my fourth podcast of the morning.
Running on fumes.
Struggle city right now. Stomach's growling.
Yeah.
Something about talking about money just makes me hungry. We're doing things a little different this week. Instead of the general market overviews, we're focusing on earnings for two reasons. One, a lot of earnings coming out, so it kind of makes sense. Two, we're going to be up in Chicago for a conference, the Invest for Kids conference coming up. We love the kids, so follow us on Twitter at Tusk Media LLC for our commentary on there. Also check us out. Follow us on YouTube. Search Tusk Media, Facebook, Seeking Alpha, all those places, because we have a bunch of earnings videos coming out. We're talking about everything from Boeing to Cabot Microelectronics, all the way over to Polaris, which just reported earnings just a few minutes ago. We're talking about Polaris right now. So Krebsbach, what's the lowdown?
It was another rough one.
Rough.
I feel like every time management talks, the stock tanks 10%. I don't know if you get that about too. I know you don't follow as much as I do, but anytime they say anything.
So at least quarterly.
Yeah. Well, even, I'll start with this, but on September 12th, all the way back to September 12th, they pre-released and they're down about 8% on that. They cut, I should back up a little farther on this.
Ooh, he's going back. Rewind.
They had the recall issues with their side-by-side stuff with their razors, or RZRs, whatever they call them.
Razors.
Yeah.
Razor.
With the engines getting overheating and burning people. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not a big deal.
But so they had a huge recall. They tried to address it, which is what you should do in that situation, but it wasn't enough. So they had to go back and put more money into it, more time into it. So they cut their guidance back significantly. I think, let's just say it was 6 hours trip before that, and cut it back to, at the midpoint, 355. So that's a pretty steep haircut.
Real steep.
So I guess it was more serious than them. Yeah, it was pretty serious. So that was on September 12th. It tanked 8%. They anticipated sales for the full year being down mid to high single digits from flat to down 2%, which again, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And that's again from them addressing the recalls by cutting back inventory, not shipping as much to the dealers, offering more discounts, offering longer warranties on the products. You're gonna
try to rebuild.
Yeah, you're gonna face some struggles there. I personally think that's kind of the low, but today it wasn't as bad, I thought, than what that was. It kind of was in line in terms of EPS. They updated EPS to 350, down from 355. I think what people are looking at, in my opinion, is the motorcycle sales down 3% year over year.
Do you think, how much of that do you think you would attribute to just kind of the political correctness and kind of the reaction to their motorcycle line being Indian?
The Indian.
Not to use the I word, but do you think that's part of it in an
huge.
election year?
I don't know. Maybe.
Probably makes sense.
Might just be Harley. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it could be the Indian name.
I think it's the I word.
Yeah. And then ORV and snowmobiles, which is significantly larger than the motorcycle segment, was down 22%. And again, that's just from, I think, more so attributed to the discounts and rebates and all that they're trying to push inventory through. And then gross margins, which with a business like this, with a discretionary products like this, gross margins where you really need to look. And motorcycles have a significantly lower gross margin than the ORVs or their other segments, global adjacent segments they call it. And that's where the growth segment's supposed to come from, but it's also at a significantly lower margin, which it's not always good from a business perspective.
Yeah. Getting growth on low margin isn't as cool as growth on high margin.
But one of the things I think the silver lining in this, to me, which is why we talked about this before, in meetings in the past, and why I pitched it. I didn't push it really hard because channel checks were saying that dealer inventory was significantly higher, and for that to happen, or for that to improve, that needs to go down so you can refill the channels, sell more bikes, sell more snowmobiles, and all that. For the quarter, dealer inventory was down 10%. ORV inventory was down 16%.
Wow.
I think that's
a positive.
Yeah, and then the second quarter, last quarter, ORV dealer inventory is down 8%. So I think you're going to start to see, going into new, I'm kind of pulling out for the rest of the year. I want to try to, but I think going into the new year, you're going to get like a normalization of the dealer inventory levels, which were pretty high before. Now they're going to be lower. I think now you're going to start lapping over easier comps. I mean, this time last year, maybe it was December, January, December.
Yeah.
But that was when you got the oil patch problems and all that, so they were buying less of the products. You had a warm winter, they weren't buying snowmobiles, and then you got into, fires, and then, so I think you're going to start lapping easier comps.
Start to look better.
When the new year starts in 17.
So when you say holding out, you're holding out from buying, you think?
Right now, I think, last I saw was down 6.5% to about $76.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to low 70s or below 70. I would personally probably start buying.
Start nibbling a little bit.
Yeah, I think the risk reward is pretty favorable there. I kind of normalized their EPS at like $5 to $6, and I think that would be a pretty fair price to pay.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like you've got kind of this isolated, albeit pretty unfortunate scenario of burning vehicles.
Yeah.
You've got that, and then a lot of damage control. Combine that with an inventory story that's maybe going to turn the corner soon. It does seem like you have a couple catalysts at play, especially when you start to look at the broader picture and the comps that you just touched on.
This year there's been so much just garbage happening to them. Like you can kind of call into question management. That's a really fair point to bring up if you want to question management in that sense. I don't. I think I don't know. I think it's just a bad year.
Yeah. Sometimes your ride just catches on fire.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah.
So there's our thoughts on Polaris. Hit subscribe. We got a lot of other commentary coming up. Krebsbach. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Tusk Media is a subsidiary of Narwhal Capital Management. Ratings and reviews of Tusk Media content are not to be construed as endorsements of opinions, analysis, or services offered by Tusk or its parent company. The opinions and predictions shared here are professional beliefs at the time of publication. We are not under duress from any of the corporate entities mentioned. This is not a solicitation to take any particular action. Although we are investment advisors, this information should not be considered investment, legal, or tax advice. We strive to be as impartial, insightful, and accurate as possible. We base our opinions, analysis, and calculations on information we believe to be reliable, but we cannot guarantee its accuracy. We can, however, guarantee that our opinions will sometimes be flat out wrong due to a variety of factors. Employees and clients of Narwhal Capital Management may or may not hold positions in the securities detailed and may or may not hold these positions in the future. A full list of all securities purchased, sold, or held during the 12 months preceding the date of this publication can be provided upon request. Unless otherwise noted, all data accessed via MarketWatch or the Bloomberg terminal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. A copy of Narwhal's Form ADV is available at the SEC's website, www.advisorinfo.sec.gov, or from Narwhal upon written request.